Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Well, actually my second video now. But first off, yes, I am wearing an Angry Birds shirt. Um, all my other clothes are in the washer right now, so this is what I have to deal with. But anyway, moving on now. This vid okay. This video here is about the migrations of people in Britain. So now that, first of all, that might sound a little bit like a weird, and that's really a weird way of putting it. But basically what that means is I'm trying to go through all the different people who settled in, conquered, and lived in Great Britain and Ireland, the British Isles. That's what I'm counting as the British Isles. Um, and so this is a really long bit of stuff to go over with. So this is going to be a multi-part series here um, that I'm going to be putting in periodically. But so the first bit is going to be on Roman Britain. So that includes pre-Roman up to when the Romans left. My next video for this will be picking off from there. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you at the end. If we look at the British Isles, currently there are about 5 current nations in the British Isles. You got Scotland, you got England, Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and the Isle of Man. Now, if we go back, way back to BC, before Roman, there are 3 main people in the British Isles. You got the Picts, you got the Britons, and you got the Irish, who at the time were called Scots. Basically, all of these people are Celts, which was part of a much larger group of people that existed all over Europe. So, now that we got that out of the way. Yeah, so now if we look at Rome had been eyeing Britain for a while at the time. Because first, Julius Caesar had went and invaded the island in the 50 BCs after he conquered Gaul, or modern-day France. But he never actually could conquer the island because there was other stuff happening back in Gaul that he had to go deal with. So it remained free for another 100 years or so until you get to the Emperor Claudius. So Claudius had just become a new emperor, and this is so Claudius had just become an emperor basically, and he was trying to secure his throne, and so he looked off at whatever he could do to secure his throne. One of them was conquering, since that was one of the main ways that you could really secure your throne. You go off to war with someone, and you win, and you got the throne. So he was looking at where could Rome expand, and he saw Britain, and so he chose that. And the choice of Britain was not at all required. The Strait of the English Channel would have been plenty enough of a border to defend from the British anyway. But he was basically doing it out of vanity and trying to keep his throne. So in 43 AD, he led the first conquest to conquer Britain. So they came in from the southeast, defeated the Catavellauni. Sorry, the names are weird. I'm trying to read this off a script right now. And he took the capital of Camuladuman. Basically, modern-day Colchester. The names here are too annoying to read. But, so Colchester, and that's the first city that they took. And from there they pushed to the southwest, then they pushed up to the Midlands, and then they tried to conquer Wales, and they faced tons of opposition there, because one of those Catavellauni princes that had fled, went to Wales, rallied the Welsh against the Romans. So that took decades before they could conquer Wales, because there was so much opposition. And on top of that, meanwhile, from 60 to 61 AD, another person, Queen Boudica of the Iceni tribe, I believe is how you'd say it, led a rebellion against the British and almost drove them out before she got beat. And eventually, under the provincial governor of
looks like Gaius Julius Agricola. The Romans marched troops all the way up to the Moray further. If you look at Scotland, it's that. So you got Scotland, you got that big jut out part at the top, that big area underneath that. That's the Moray Firth. They got all the way up to there in 84. And eventually, but they never kept that. They eventually pulled all the troops back to a line that from now is between Newcastle and Carlisle. And this is the line that Hadrian's Wall was first built in the 120s and 130s. And so from there, they started to Romanize the area. So pretty much what that meant is that they took old cities and they turned them into Roman cities with proper Roman buildings, proper Roman style. And they took all these old elite, the old people who ran everything, and they gave them the power of government. And in exchange, they Romanized very quickly because they were grateful for keeping their power. And so the government there was mostly made up of local elite as opposed to a Roman elite that was imported and basically conquered, which helped the Britons a lot because they had the benefit of not being overshadowed like that, and they were never really subjugated in the same way as other places were. And so as they Romanized, the only cities and places that started to look actually Mediterranean was in the southeast, and kind of a line from Exeter to Lincoln in current day England. But as all good things must come to an end, and by the mid 200s, the boom, that initial boom, had dried up, and Britain started to go into a state of decline. And so, the Roman Empire at the time was huge, had a lot of borders to defend, and because it wasn't conquering anymore, it didn't have anything to keep it going, really, and so it started declining. And as its enemies started growing and Rome just kind of stayed the same, it ended in decline. So then all the money that Rome had got poured into defense, and so they built walls around the cities. But because you're pouring all this money in defense, all the other stuff starts to get overlooked, and so the city started declining. And over time, because Britain at the time wasn't exactly a necessary, again, it was kind of just the extra province off to the side. As the European borders and other borders along Rome needed troops to defend, they pulled them out of Britain. And so slowly and slowly and slowly, they started pulling all the troops until eventually there were no troops left. And they basically all the Britons that were still there had to just fend for themselves. And so from there, by 425, Britain had stopped being in any sense really Roman. And that is where you end the Roman parts. That's where you end Roman Britain.
Hey guys, again. That was a lot to take in. Yeah, otherwise, I'm sorry that this takes quite a long time to get out, and I kind of didn't realize that as much. Part of it was due to the fact that I over researched this completely. Like, my entire desk right now is covered in research for more video for the future, like the Vikings in Britain and all the other stuff. And I thought that I would be able to get to some more in this, but as it turns out, this takes a long time to do. And yeah, so I'm just gonna split it up. Anyway, my next video probably isn't going to be on Britain. I'm thinking it's going to be on population density, since I find that pretty fascinating. But otherwise, I'll see you guys then, and I hope you have a great time till then. Bye.